There are universal laws to success. Have you ever wondered why some people are successful and some people aren't? Listen to me, whether you are trying to get a pay raise, get a job period, start a business, buy a property, even be a better dad, mom, wife, husband, whatever, these laws will help you obtain that. And I'm going to tell you that it's not just some secret sauce to success, but by the time we get to the bottom here, you're going to understand how all this ties together to your personal growth and your personal success. I'm excited to walk you through it. All right, the first law, the law of value. Okay, your true worth will be determined by how much more you give in value than you receive in compensation. And this, I think a lot of us understand this, and we understand that value creation is key to wealth creation. But I'll tell you where most of us struggle, myself included, is when we go to provide this value, we think that immediately everyone will recognize how valuable everything that we're offering is. But in reality, not everyone, and even sometimes the majority of people, especially in the beginning, will not immediately recognize the value that you're providing. The key though is to trust the process, to stay the course, and continue to provide as much value as possible, giving freely, literally providing as much value as possible, y'all knowing that it is going to bring a payback, knowing that it is going to receive, result in more compensation. Corporate America doesn't want you to know your true value. You want to know why? Because most of the time they're paying you, well, not enough. They're not paying you enough. And so if you know your true value, you're probably going to bounce and roll somewhere else. But I'll tell you what corporate America does a great job at. The value that they provide is this sense of security, this safety net, right? Of a steady paycheck, health benefits, health insurance, that kind of stuff. Something that truthfully they could pull out from underneath you, but you view this, your perspective is that that is valuable. So you continue to work for them time and time again. Our job though, my friends, is to provide as much value to other people, because that is truly the security and the safety net that we're looking for. If you can provide value, you'll always be able to acquire wealth, period. All right, that leads us to law number 2, which is the law of compensation. Your income will be determined by how many people you serve and how well you serve them, okay? How many people you serve and how well you serve them. If you want to make millions, you have to impact millions. So if you want to get really rich, my advice to you is to find problems that other people have, a lot of people have, and solve them. I'll give you an example. There is a huge demand for affordable housing. Well, let me tell you, the industry that I'm in is apartments, investing in apartments. What does that do? How do I serve those individuals, and how does that result in income? Well, I need to impact millions of people. How do I do that? Well, I own thousands of apartment units across the US. Those apartments provide housing for thousands of people. Now, those thousands of people serve their family by living there. They have peace of mind by being able to live there, which allows them to impact millions and thousands of people within their individual space. I also provide returns, great returns, for thousands of investors. Those returns that they receive now impact millions of people, their families, their futures, and all the individuals they impact by taking those returns and sparking the economy. I also provide hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of jobs to people across the US. What does that do? Well, those hundreds and hundreds of people now can go out there and spark the economy, provide value to other people. And once again, I've now impacted millions of people. I have an education company as well. That education company helps people learn how to invest. So think about this, my individual efforts, going out and acquiring apartments and providing those jobs and providing that value, it impacts millions, which is why I make millions. but I want to make billions. And you want to know how I do that? Teach people to do the same things that I'm doing, because now that multiplies those efforts and that value exponentially. As I train people to understand how to go and acquire apartments, provide housing, provide returns, provide jobs, that multiplies those efforts. And once again, going out there and serving those individuals, my students, my investors, my tenants, I know for sure that the compensation will come. I don't worry about it, I know about it, period. It's a universal law. Law number 3, the law of influence. Your influence will be determined by how abundantly you place the needs and interests of others in front of your own, above your own, right? So many people feel like in order for their influence to grow, they need all the spotlight. They need to take all the spotlight. If you want your influence to grow, share the spotlight. Listen to me, when other people understand, if you're just trying to take all the spotlight, you know what people are gonna do? They're going to be very skeptical of what you're looking to provide. But when they realize that you are there because you want to provide value for them, you want to serve them, you know what happens? They start to share that information. Your influence begins to grow exponentially, because it's not just coming from your mouth. You wanna know who it's coming from? The mouths of all those people that you are providing value to and serving. Once again, impacting millions, which means your influence is gonna naturally grow. It's absolutely key to not worry about who gets the credit. If you truly wanna be successful, you need to understand that it's not about always wondering or worrying about, are you getting credit for what you're doing? Once again, knowing that the credit will come back eventually at some point in the right time. The question that you should ask yourself all the time, and that I try to ask myself all the time, is not, how much money have I made or what have I done? It's how many people have I helped today? If that is a metric, and I learned that metric from a number of mentors in my life. One individual that I spoke with recently, his name is Jackson Campbell, and that was what he said out of his mouth was, how many people have I helped today? You know what that does? Increases your influence. Law number 4 is the law of authenticity. My friends, the most valuable gift that you have to give is yourself. It's yourself. You're not trying to appeal to or attract everyone. You're trying to attract the individuals that are right for you. But I'm gonna tell you how you do that, okay? Most of us, when we go into situations, naturally, we're wired this way, right? Most of us are wired to think inward. Man, are these people, are they gonna like, care, value me? The reverse has to be true. When you go into a situation, you have to be looking at, do these people feel and know that I like, care, and value them? My wife, Brittany, is a perfect example of this. She doesn't go into social settings worrying about if people are gonna like her at all. I do most of the time, but I've learned this law from her. Listen, she goes in there with maximum wanting to provide value and make an influence to other people. So once again, it's outward instead of inward. Do these individuals, do they feel liked, cared, valued, appreciated? Because I'm gonna tell you right now that those who are the most likable are those who like the most people, period. If you want the most people to like you, you need to like the most people. And you do that by being yourself, being comfortable, and focusing outward, period. All right, law number 5. And I told you in the very beginning that by the time we got to law number 5, you would see how all this ties together. And law number 5 is the law of receptivity. The law of receptivity. Let me help you understand what that means. That means that in order for us to give more, we have to be able to receive some. We have to allow people to serve us as well. We have to be able to receive and be good at doing that so that other people can be valuable and get better compensation from serving. That allows us to do that. But here's the other key to this, and this is how this all ties together to your personal success, like I said in the beginning. You have to be receptive to feedback. That's how you can continue to grow. None of us are perfect. None of us, even you, none of us are perfect. We all have to grow. And you wanna know what? The only way that we can grow is by knowing what we're not, knowing how we can get better. I am always looking for ways to receive feedback. Some of that feedback, most of that feedback, is not good feedback, meaning it's not enjoyable that I love, but I'm gonna tell you I love it. Why? Because it's feedback that shows me things that I need to get better on. And if I can improve these things, because I'm open to feedback, that allows me to continue to grow and wait for it, allows me to continue to be able to give more. Why? Because I understand now how I can give more. And once again, it all circles back up to the law of value. I believe that this law number one is the most important, because if you are truly trying to provide value, you're naturally going to serve other people. You're naturally going to do that. And if you're serving other people, then you're not worrying about taking the credit. What you're doing is you're worrying about giving the credit, which means you're going to be influential. And if you're doing that as well, then you're being yourself, because once again, you're focusing outward on taking care of other people instead of focusing all on your selfish needs and how you feel. Once again, the law of receptivity, being open to feedback and guidance, my friends, will propel you to your personal success. Once again, whether you're starting a business, buying a property, trying to be a better dad, a husband, a wife, a mother, whatever it is, these things will help you, and feedback is the key, as is value. My friends, if this video helped you, which if you're at this point, I know it did, and if it didn't, then you need to go back and rewatch and take notes. Okay, go back, rewatch, take notes, and ingrain it into yourself. And if you do this, it'll change your life and help your life. And if it helped you, I want you to leave a comment. I want you to share this with somebody else. Once again, why? Because that's valuable to those other people. You know who else it's valuable to? You. You want to know why? Because you're providing value to them. And then lastly, you know who else is valuable for? Me. Because I told you I want to make millions, and the only way that I can do that is by impacting millions. You can help me do that. Thanks, my friends.